Gamera is really meat. Gamera is filled with meat. We've been eating Gamera.
Gamera is full of me. Welcome to 2016. I am the Kaiju no Kami, and let's get this year kicked off with the original 1965 Gamera, the Giant Monster. Toho was in its prime during the 1960s as they were just amassing hit after hit in the Kaiju department. 1964's Mothra vs. Godzilla was the movie where they perfected their craft, and as such, other companies wanted in on the action. Many tried and failed, but one lone company found success with a strange little monster that took on the form of a giant turtle named Gamera. This company was Daiei, and they were the only company that managed to pull off several sequels of their own Godzilla copycat. How is Gamera a copycat of Godzilla, you ask? Well, let's just look at the beginning of this movie to start. The movie kicks off by introducing us to Dr. Eiji Hidaka, played by Eiji Funakoshi. He is in the Arctic meeting with some Eskimos. From there, unknown planes fly by overhead and are intercepted by the US Air Force. One of the planes is shot down and it must have been carrying nuclear weapons on it, for its crash causes a mushroom cloud to emerge. This in turn wakes up the ancient Gamera from the ice, who wreaks havoc by destroying the ship Hidaka and its crew arrived on. For the uninformed, Godzilla was a prehistoric creature that was awakened by the atomic bomb testing in the 40s and 50s, whereas Gamera was a prehistoric creature awakened by a nuclear bomb going off. Do you see what I mean? Only difference is that Gamera was part of a race of creatures that protected Atlantis.
This is the legendary stone handed down from our fathers.
Then, it is a turtle which lived on the Atlantic continent.
Yes.
Gamera! Gamera か。やっぱり私の仮説が正しかったんだ。
Later, reports are coming from across the world about a strange flying saucer being seen, taking all of the press away from Gamera. Hidaka is on his way back to Japan from New York and believes Gamera is dead from the radiation by now when he suddenly shows up in Hokkaido and destroys a lighthouse. A lighthouse. How evil. Oh, but this is the best part. After the lighthouse attack, Gamera goes to a geothermal plant. Hidaka arrives in Tokyo and then immediately flies out to Hokkaido, all in the span of 15 minutes.
午後7時半頃、襟裳岬に現れて灯台を破壊したガメラは、一旦水中に没し、今から15分ほど前に地熱発電所に向かって接近中を発見いたしました。地熱発電所に向かって接近中を発見いたしました。地熱発電所に向かって接近中を発見いたしました。
Now I will admit, I don't know how long it is to take a flight from Tokyo to Hokkaido, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot longer than 15 minutes when you consider how much it would take to get to the plane, get your tickets, for the plane to take off, and then the plane to land and get out. Because it takes at least 15 minutes before you can even get out of a plane. Anyway, Hidaka tells the military there is another way to stop Gamera. They use electric power lines, and when that fails...
先生、高圧に近づいてますよ。先生、これはどうなってんですか？わしの失敗のようだね。
He just gives up like that. Can you imagine what it'd be like if every scientist just gave up after one failure? Well, you know what? That plan to solve world hunger failed. We're just gonna stop there. From there, the military attacks Gamera, but he pretty much ignores them and consumes the fire that broke out from the battle. Hidaka goes to another professor named Murase for ideas on how to stop Gamera. Jun Hamamura plays his purposeless professor. They both convince the military to not have the US attack Gamera with nuclear weapons, and instead try to stop him with freeze bombs.
Everyone, chill.
Talk about your cold shoulder.
The freeze bombs work long enough for the military to set up charges around the mountainside Gamera is on, and he falls over onto his back.
カメという動物は裏返しにされたら自力では起き上がることは不可能です。このまま気長に飢え死にするのを待てば今度こそ奴の息の根は止まりますぞ。
先生、おめでとうございます。
Everyone begins to cheer when Gamera's appendages retract into his shell and out comes flames, revealing him to have a flying form. He flees while also revealing to the world that he was the UFO that was spotted. Natural disasters occur in Tokyo Bay, which Hidaka believes to be caused by Gamera. A new plan is decided upon, this time the Z Plan, which will take place on an island named Oshima. The Z Plan. Or Z Plan as they say it in Japanese, but yeah, we're never actually told what this means or what the purpose is, it's just the Z Plan. And the only thing I can think of is, does it have to do with Lord Zed? I mean, is it one of his plans that he used to come up with to defeat the Power Rangers? Or what? I don't know. I've got nothing. It's just the Z Plan. That's it. Gamera resurfaces to attack Tokyo because reasons. Everyone is evacuated while the military decides that the best course of action to keep Gamera at bay is to constantly feed him a steady supply of oil tankers. The next step of Z Plan. Again, why the Z Plan? What does the Z stand for? What is its purpose? Why? What? Where? When? Who? How? What? I don't know. Just give me an explanation. Something. Where is the normal exposition the Japanese love providing in these things? The one time you need it, it's not there. Anyway, as I was saying, the next step of the Z Plan is to lure Gamera to Oshima Island, but that is interrupted by a typhoon. As such, they use a huge bonfire to keep Gamera coming to the island, which is then enforced by a volcanic eruption. The next morning, Z Plan is finally set into motion. Finally! We can know what the Z Plan is! Gamera is encased in a dome, which is revealed to be part of a rocket ship. The ship is launched into outer space, and the day is saved.
ただいま世界中の科学技術を結集してここに完成した Z プランの火星行き宇宙ロケットでガメラの打ち上げが成功しました。ミスター日高おめでとう。ありがとう。ミスターおめでとう。
What was the Z Plan? How was that a Z Plan? What does the Z stand for?
Well, that was Gamera the Giant Monster. Wow, what a fantastic plot this was. No, seriously. This plot is pretty simplistic and not really all that interesting. Gamera is the only thing that makes this movie enjoyable because everything else is just subpar at best. As in my summary recap of the movie, I really only talked about Hidaka, and that is because he is really the only character that matters. He does have an assistant named Kyoko and a news reporter friend named Ayagi, but they hardly bring anything to the plot. The most Ayagi does is hit on Kyoko and begins the bonfire. As for Murase, he served no purpose either. The biggest time waster goes to a little kid named Toshio, played by Yoshiro Uchida. I have no idea why the writers thought he was necessary to the movie, other than I guess wanting it to appeal to children? Toshio is an annoying brat that pouts more than Shinji Ikari.
When I was a young boy,
My father took me into the city.
He loves turtles a lot more than humans. Hey, that sounds like a character from another series I reviewed not too long ago. So much so that he is constantly getting into trouble for his love of turtles. The lighthouse Gamera destroys actually belonged to his family, and for some reason he just had the need to run up to the lighthouse because reasons. Gamera saves him though, which I don't know why. He's the only life in the entire movie Gamera seemed to care about, but there's never any explanation why. Afterwards, he and his sister just happened to move to Tokyo to live with their uncle while the lighthouse is repaired, even though there was nothing indicating they were living in it in the first place. And then Toshio gets into more trouble there. He jumps on one of the tankers they're being, and then he sneaks aboard the ship that is heading to Oshima Island. His sister seems very calm in all of this too, which might explain why he acts the way he does. Oh, and he is so dumb because he thinks his little turtle Chibi that his dad made him let go turned into Gamera. This is what drives him to want to be around Gamera. This kid is just really annoying and is only there to eat up the running time of the movie because without him, this would have been an hour long. That aside, there is nothing else worth talking about with the plot or the characters. As I said earlier, Gamera is an interesting monster that makes up for the mess. Unfortunately, they don't really go into detail on what exactly Gamera's role was with Atlantis, which is a shame since it really could have set him apart from being a Godzilla clone. But hey, you know what? He's got several more sequels after this, so I'm sure they're gonna go into details on that in those. Nevertheless, I do like his design, especially the details on the shell. Having a turtle creature that can fly in the form of a flying saucer is a pretty unique idea too, and it makes way more sense than Godzilla flying with his breath. The effects are nice, and there is a lot of excellent work with the miniatures. There is a scene where Gamera is approaching a building and you can see people running inside of the building. Yeah, you can easily tell they are little paper people being pulled on a string or a track, but it is still something really cool that even the Godzilla movies didn't do at the time. Another thing I did like was the inclusion of the US military, which is far more realistic given the US essentially owned Japan's military then. That was a really nice touch. Finally, Tadashi Yamachi's music isn't the greatest, but it is serviceable. He didn't seem to do much music for movies outside the 60s, and none of what he did seems to be from a major movie. Nevertheless, what he does bring to the table works, even if he is nowhere near the level of Fukube and Masato. Sadly, in the end, Gamera is a Godzilla clone that just got really lucky. I don't even know what it was that made him so popular back then, but you know what? I'm kind of glad he did because of what would come 30 years later from the creature. That was a real treat to the Kaiju genre. Well, that's really all I have to say about this movie. Until next time, bye.
Come to me, baby Gamera! At your service.